Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Deja and I'm so glad you're here. In today's video, I will be showing you some Thanksgiving craft ideas to inspire you. Today, I also feel like chatting a little bit more and sharing more about myself. This is my 9th video, so I figured it's only proper if you got to know me a little bit better. Okay, so for this first project, I found this round wooden charcuterie board at Target a few years ago in their dollar section. I believe this was $5. This board has 4 little legs, which gives it some height, which I think is really neat. I am going to put a cute vinyl design on here. I got this design from Cricut Design Space, and as always, I will share all of the supplies and materials in the description section. You can click on the title of this video, and it will expand to show you more details. I like to use designs from Cricut Design Space for a few reasons. One is that there are so many cute images, and secondly, I pay for the yearly subscription, so I want to make good use of that. I also like just having quick and easy access to images when I'm in a time crunch and I don't have a lot of time to search for SVGs on other sites. So here, I'm cutting up some transfer tape to put over the vinyl design so that I can transfer it to the charcuterie board. I'm using ExpressionsVinyl transfer tape, I think. This is not one of my favorite transfer tape, but honestly, I don't know if I have a favorite transfer tape. Some days I like one brand more than the other, so I guess today this one was not my favorite, but it still worked. You'll see in a while how much I struggled to get the final design to come off of it. It was a struggle, but I'll speed that part up so that you don't have to watch it. Alright, so a few things about me. One thing about me is that I am naturally an introverted person, but I can also be a chatterbox around my family and close friends. I think that's usually normal for introverted people. I wish I can record my videos and talk at the same time in real time, but I have 4 children who are super active and loud in the background, so it makes it tough to record, which is why a lot of my videos are recorded with voiceovers and music. Not only that, but my tiny craft space is not really set up for filming all the time. I have to constantly move things around, readjust tables and chairs, and set up my filming each time. I hope to someday save enough money to give my crafty space a makeover and have a filming system in place. So that is one of my goals for next year. Wish me good luck on that. Now I'm getting ready to put my vinyl design onto the charcuterie board. A few tips that I learned from over the years is that you need to use a really good scraper to furbish the vinyl down. I have a few different brands of scrapers and I really like the ones that has the soft felt squeegee on the bottom. I have the Cricut brand scrapers too, but I tend to use those for paper crafting projects. For wood blanks that do not have a sealant or varnish on top, I do not use rubbing alcohol to wipe it down first, because this will make the wood surface wet and it causes the adhesive vinyl to not stick on very well. So as you can see, I did not clean the wood surface before laying the vinyl down. You can certainly add a sealant or varnish on top, but if you plan to use this to serve or display food, be sure to read the labels of the sealant or varnish container to confirm that it is food safe. I'm planning to use this charcuterie board for decorations only. This charcuterie board does not have a sealant on top, so it does make it a little trickier for the vinyl to stick down. Also, the transfer tape that I used was new and sticky, so the vinyl did not want to come off all the way. If the vinyl lifts up, I just press it back down and use a scraper to burnish it some more. I did have to do this several times in a few areas that didn't want to lay down, which was quite annoying, but the end result was that it turned out really beautiful. Between adhesive vinyl and heat transfer vinyl, also known as HTV or iron-on vinyl, I honestly prefer working with HTV because it's so much easier to weed and there's more grace with moving it around while positioning it perfectly onto the blank surface. You have to be very careful with adhesive vinyl to make sure that it doesn't rip while weeding, stick to each other, or land onto the wrong spot. Okay, here's the final look of the charcuterie board, a simple and cute Happy Thanksgiving decoration. Next, I have this blank house decor that's been sitting in my craft closet for a few years now. I also inherited a bunch of these mirrors from my older sister a few years ago before she moved to Texas. I'm not sure what she bought them for or used them for, but I have a bunch of them and didn't know what to do with it for the longest time. I thought that it would be unique to combine these two together for this project. The front of the mirror has a protective film on it, which I will remove later, and the back side has adhesive on it already. I will start by removing the protective sheet on the back side and stick the mirror on the house. I cut out a phrase using my Cricut Maker 3 machine using black vinyl. It says, "I am thankful for you." The idea I had in mind is that when someone looks in the mirror, they can be reminded that I am thankful for them. My husband was having so much fun with this when I finished it and kept making all sorts of funny faces. I'm sure I'll see dirty little handprints on the mirror soon, but it'll be a reminder of how thankful I am for those little hands. Alright, the mirror is positioned where I want it to go. This house decor came from the dollar section at Target a few years ago and it was $3. Next, I will use the same transfer tape from earlier to transfer the vinyl over to the house decor. So, what else should I share about myself? I don't really know what to say. I guess I can share that I am married. I have 4 kids. I have 3 boys and 1 girl. And again, I'm an introverted. I live in Minnesota and have lived here my entire life. It's really a beautiful state with all 4 seasons. I'm not really into winter, but I do love having snow on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I just love it, and I believe that Christmas isn't Christmas without the snow. It makes me feel like a child all over again. I don't know what it is, but I just think that there's something so magical about snow, Christmas lights, opening presents on a cold but very cozy day. So that's one of my favorite things about Minnesota is the 4 seasons. Growing up, I've always loved crafting, but I didn't really get into it until early 2021. I first heard about a Cricut cutting machine from an old coworker back in 2019 and was super intrigued by it. I actually purchased my first Cricut machine off of Facebook Market for $100. I didn't know much about it, didn't really do any real research on it, and surprisingly found out after the fact that I bought the Cricut Explorer 1 machine right after the Maker 3 was just released. So I did like what most crafters do. I hopped on the Cricut train, I sold my Explorer 1 and now have the Maker 3, the Joy Extra, and the Joy. I have all of the heat presses except for the auto press. I pretty much invested all of my money into all Cricut products and then later discovered the vast world of Crafty supplies and goodies. This year though, my goal was to use up all the stuff that I have in my craft space because let me tell you, I've spent a lot of money on craft supplies and Cricut cuties. One of my favorite crafters on YouTube is Jennifer Maker. I'm sure you've heard of her before. She is very popular and I call her the mom of the craft world. I've learned so much from her. When I first started learning how to use my machines in Cricut Design Space, I actually enrolled in her Design to Shine courses, which were really good, and I highly recommend it. So if you're new to Cricut, you're new to Cricut Design Space, or you just bought a machine, I highly recommend searching Jennifer Maker on YouTube. She's got tons and tons of tutorials and videos that will help you. My other favorite crafter on YouTube is Bethany from Bethadeli. I can listen to her chat and craft away all the time. She brings me so much inspiration and motivation, and I honestly think her style is so much like my style, and I really like the vibes that she brings to her craft videos. Alright, I'm all done and here's the final look. All I have to do now is just peel away this protective film and then set it up on a cute little easel stand and it's ready to go. Alright, so the rest of my projects are now all using HTV, so I'm going to take out my 6x7 Cricut heat press. I wasn't so organized with all of these projects, so some of them required different heat settings, how long to press, how much pressure, and when to peel away the protective sheet, so I apologize about that. I will list up the settings on the screen. I wanted to make some cute treat bags for my 4 kiddos for Thanksgiving Day. I'm using Cricut Rose Gold Foil Iron-on Vinyl. I typed out the words Thanksgiving treats to put on the front of the bag, and later I'll fill it up with some candies and little fun surprises for my kids. Besides Cricut crafts and making cards, I also love to crochet, loom knit, create macrame bags and cute hangers or wall decor. Let's see, I also like to paint sometimes, and I say sometimes because I'm not very good at it, but I try. I've also tried polymer clay and resin crafts, and I think they're okay. It's a lot of work, and it's really too messy and stinky for me. A fun fact is that I actually have a really strong sensitivity to the smell of Play-Doh and clay. Growing up as a kid, I really did not like to play with Play-Doh because I just think it smells really bad. And so I stay away from that stuff. But yeah, I've seen and I follow really good artists who are good at making polymer earrings and jewelry, resin jewelry, coasters, stuff like that, and they're really good at it. I'm just not that good at it. And not only am I not good at it, it's also really messy. I tried to make some resin earrings one time using glitter, and I I hate glitter. They get all over my clothes, all over my hands, and all over the floor. And so kudos to all the wonderful crafters out there who are so good at those two crafts. But I'll keep trying, I'll keep working on it, and hopefully I'll get better at it someday. The settings I'm using for these little canvas treat bags are 290 degrees Fahrenheit and press firmly for 30 seconds, and it is a cold peel. I'm setting all of them to the side to peel after I press all of them. And also these bags are 100% cotton. Let's see, some other fun facts about me is that I do work a full-time job during the day from 8 to 4:30. I'm not going to say what it is, but I do have a full-time job. So I wish crafting was my full-time job because I love creating beautiful things. I'm all done pressing these treat bags, so we can go ahead and peel away the carrier sheet. You want to peel slowly in case the vinyl lifts up. If this happens, put the carrier sheet back down and press the design again. But as you can see here, the carrier sheets are coming off like butter and none of the iron-on vinyl lifted up, so we're good. I love how pretty this rose gold turned out. I found these really cute orange oven mitts at my local Dollar Tree about a month ago, and I just thought they were so cute and I wanted to buy them. They are $1.25 each, and I got 2 of them. I'll be using Siser Gold Glitter HTV, and the design I'm using says Give Thanks, and I found this from Cricut Design Space, and I will be putting this on the oven mitts. Now, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Usually the design is the other way, which is this way, where you hang it up and you see the design so that it looks like this, but I'm actually going to turn it upside down because I want it so that when I put my hands in the oven mitts, I see the design. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it probably looks upside down to you, but I intended for it to look that way because I wanted the design to be facing the right direction when I put my hands inside. Before you press your design onto your oven mitts, you want to pre-press for about 5 to 10 seconds and then use the lint roller to remove any dust or small particles. This step is important because it ensures that your HTV will lay down nicely and that there isn't anything in the way that will prohibit or stop or prevent your vinyl from laying down nicely. And here I'm just going to position it right where I want it, and then when I am satisfied, I am going to go ahead and press it. The settings that I have for this project is I have the temperature set at 315 degrees Fahrenheit and that I am going to press for 15 seconds with medium pressure. And this type of vinyl, it is a cold or hot peel. So that means that you can peel it right away when it's still hot, or you can wait until it cools down a little bit and then peel away the carrier sheet. Now the funny thing is I've never had this happen to me before, but the carrier sheet like completely came off and was stuck to the bottom of my heat press. Thankfully it didn't melt or anything and it didn't ruin my design, but I just thought that was really interesting. So here I'm just going to repeat those same steps again. I'm going to pre-press it and then use the lint roller to get rid of any dust or particles and then position my design onto the oven mitts. And then once I'm satisfied, I will go ahead and press it again. And then as soon as I'm done, you'll see the same thing happens. As soon as I lift it up, it's weird, but like the carrier sheet is stuck to the bottom of the heat press plate. But anyway, it still turned out really nice, and yeah, it feels like it was meant to be there, like it was pressed on beautifully. You can't even feel the vinyl, but it looks so pretty, and I'm really pleased with how this turned out. For our next project, I found this white canvas flag, or at least that's what it's called, from Hobby Lobby. And this is part of their Christmas collection. And I'm going to iron on this really cute design using pattern vinyl and brown vinyl. The pattern vinyl is from ExpressionsVinyl. It is a glittery plaid pattern. And then the brown vinyl is a Siser Easyweed brown vinyl. I just love this color. I think it's so pretty and it's really thick material, but it's also really good quality. I was a little hesitant on putting HTV on this canvas flag because on the back there's this clear plastic film on the back and I wasn't sure if it was going to melt that or not, so I grabbed some butcher paper and I put it underneath because if it did melt, I didn't want it to ruin my heat press mat or the flag. I didn't want anything to go bad. And so I put some butcher paper down on the bottom, and then I am going to change my heat settings. I'm going to press the glitter HTV vinyl first, so I have my settings set at 290 degrees Fahrenheit and 30 seconds for how long I'm going to press it. But before I press my design onto the canvas flag, I'm going to pre-press it for about 5 to 10 seconds to remove any moisture, as I normally would do, and then use my lint roller to get rid of any particles or dust. Next, I will position my pumpkin and then press it. The reason why I'm pressing the pumpkin separate from the design that will go underneath of it is because they are two different kinds of HTV. This one is glitter HTV and then the other one is not glitter. And they're also two different brands. And so you want to make sure that when you are pressing two different brands or two different kinds of vinyl that you follow the directions for how long to press and what temperature, because you'll notice that for both of these they have different temperatures and different time settings. Next, the bottom design is Siser Easyweed vinyl. So the settings for this type of vinyl is 315 degrees for 15 seconds, and this is a hot or cold peel. So one thing I forgot to mention is that I like to use Teflon sheets to cover my HTV design sometimes, and in particular for this project I used it because, again, I wasn't sure how this canvas flag was going to handle heat. I wasn't sure if it was going to morph or if it was going to, get all weird, and so that's why I use a Teflon sheet as extra protection for even heating and just to protect my design. I finished pressing the design, so I flipped it over and now I'm peeling away the butcher paper and checking to see if anything is ruined, and so far it actually looks okay. The little plastic film on the back, it did not melt or anything, and my butcher paper looks fine. I can actually reuse it. And now comes the final test, is I'm going to take off the carrier sheet and I hope that the HTV stays on and that it doesn't come off. I can tell you right now that I was so happy to see that my HTV did not get ruined, and it's actually really pretty. It stayed on so well, and also the bottom as well too. I'm gonna just peel it away slowly, but I can let you know that it also stayed on really good. So if you see this at Hobby Lobby, know that you can use HTV vinyl on this. I was very skeptical of it at first, but it turned out really pretty. The flag is a little, I would say, it kind of bent a little bit weird, but I think if you just add a little bit heat to it, the sides might go flat again. But other than that, it looks really good. I was very, very pleased with the results. Moving on to our last project in this video, I found this really pretty wood blank house, or I don't even know what you call it, but I found this house at Hobby Lobby in the woodcraft section, and it's really pretty. I have used this house for many projects before, but I really wanted to create a decor that didn't have any words on it, and so I have this really pretty pattern adhesive vinyl that I wanted to put on this house. So the way I went about it is I cut this to size so that I wouldn't be tracing a big old house over a big size or big sheet of adhesive vinyl. And so I'm going to use my weeding tool to lift up the vinyl, and then I'm going to bend the carrier sheet on the back to create a crease so that I leave a little bit exposed, and then I'm going to line that up with the bottom of the house. This pretty pattern vinyl is from ExpressionsVinyl, and I believe it's called Nutty for Fall. I've had this for a while and I've been wanting to use this, and I'm so glad that I'm finally using it for this project. Okay, so here you want to take that exposed part of the vinyl and line it up with the bottom of the house, just like this. Once you have it lined up and in the position that you want it to be, you can go ahead and use your fingers to press the adhesive vinyl down, and then you can use your scraper to burnish it down even more. This helps the adhesive vinyl stick on even better. And then what I like to do is I like to push it upwards by moving the carrier sheet on the back away from the adhesive vinyl. While I'm doing that, I'm using my scraper to also burnish the vinyl down. I'm going to continue burnishing the vinyl down using this technique all the way until I get to the roof or the ceiling of the house. And then when I get up there, I'm just going to make sure that everything is laying down flat and there are no air bubbles. And then I'll go ahead and use my Cricut TrueControl knife to cut off the excessive edges so that it'll have a nice crisp look. This is one of my favorite ways to use pattern adhesive vinyl because you get to really see how beautiful it is. I've found that if you use these types of vinyl to cut out SVGs, the entire pattern is lost. So this is a fun way to showcase the gorgeous pattern. After cutting off the excessive edges, you can go back with a sand block or sanding paper to smooth out the edges. I didn't do this for my house because, well, it's going to be decorations in my house, so no one, besides me, will notice, but I think I did a pretty good job. I think I'll just share a few more things about myself before we wrap up this video. Besides crafting, I love reading and writing. A few of my favorite books of all time are Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, Captivating by Stacey Eldridge, The Bait of Satan by John Bevere, and The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. I also love writing so much that I have over 6 journals starting from when I was in 4th grade all the way up until now, and I'm in my mid-30s, and I love going back and reading my journals and just revisiting the different seasons of my life. And it's been so amazing to read about my childhood, my teenage years, my young adult, love, life. It's crazy, but it's also a blessing. I love spending time with my family, traveling, eating good food, and just being in the outdoors. This past summer, my husband and I took our 4 kids on a road trip to Yellowstone, and it was the longest road trip ever, but it was also very fun. My husband was such a trooper and drove the entire time. There was not a time that he was like, I'm so tired, can you drive? Nope, my husband, he is just, like I said, a trooper. I will say we were not prepared for the Rockies because there was a frightful moment descending from one of the mountains. I thought we were going to be stranded and we're going to need to call for help or something, but it was scary. Thankfully, everything was okay and the rest of our trip was very fun. By the end of it, I was kind of sick of seeing mountains, and honestly, the Midwestern girl in me just wanted to be home by the lakes. One last thing about me is that I am a Jesus girl. I love God and my church. I love serving my community. And I used to volunteer at a women's shelter, which truly gave me a new love and appreciation for all the people who fight in the front lines for battered women and children. I grew up in a Pentecostal church and have loved God all my life. Even though I am super introverted, I will always want to talk about Jesus. That is something that just excites me and I get super giddy about. Anyway, those are all the fun facts about me. I hope you learned something new. So anyways, we finished our house here. You can decorate your house. You could paint it. You can add other things to the roof to make it cool. You can even add a design to the front. I didn't because I just wanted to create something simple like this. And here are all the crafts that I made tonight. I have the patterned vinyl house, and then I have the little flag with a pumpkin, my oven mitts, and then the treat bags, and then the cute little mirror that says, I am thankful for you. And then we have the charcuterie board that I did. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you'll come back and you'll watch me craft and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye everyone.